There's a burning in my feet. Has been every night since around 2 in the morning. 2:15, 2:30. It varies, but the burning doesn't. The doctors call it peripheral neuropathy. I call it the bill coming due. 40 years of Jim Beam white label, and eventually the nerve endings start sending the invoice. It's 2:30 now, room number 114, Vigo County Senior Care and Assisted Living. The overhead fluorescent is off. There's a stripe of pale winter light through the window shade. My pill organizer is on the table. Tuesday PM slots already empty. Spironolactone, furosemide, thiamine 100 milligrams, lactulose, already taken. And next to it on the table is the coaching ring from 1987. Gold tone, blue stone, Terre Haute, South Vigo High School, sectional champions, class 4A. I don't wear it anymore. I just keep it visible. My name is Donald Ray Aldridge. I coached baseball and taught physical education at Terre Haute, South Vigo High School for 34 years, 1970 through 2004. Won Wabash Valley Coach of the Year in 1991 and 1997. Led my program to the 1987 Indiana Class 4A Sectional Championship. Approximately 340 young men came through my dugout. I'm 80 years old. I live in 280 square feet. I've been sober 16 months. Sobriety date, January 14th, 2025. It started in a dugout in 1975. Post-game tradition, beer after wins, then Jim Beam at home to come down. Indiana, blue-collar Midwest, baseball culture. It was as natural as handshakes. Sandra never complained. She was generous with what was mine. 50 years married, and she never once said I'd had enough. For 28 years, I was what they call functional. I ran 6 a.m. practices. I reviewed film on Sundays. Jim Beam was not visible in any of that. It was just what I did in the evenings. I told myself that for 28 years, and it was true, and then it wasn't. And the transition between those two things happened so slowly, I never noticed it occurring. Here's what I told my players about the batting cage. The cage is where you build the habit before the game starts. You don't wait for 2 strikes in the championship inning to develop discipline. You go in alone, no audience, no scoreboard, and you take 500 swings correctly every single day. What the cage builds is what comes out automatic when the count is full and everything's on the line. The cage I built for myself was bourbon, 500 reps a day, for 40 years. And I want you to understand what that means. The cage doesn't ask if what you're practicing is good for you. It just makes the habit permanent. Builds it into your muscle, your automatic response, the thing that comes out when there's no time to think. I spent 34 years teaching the right habit. I built exactly 1 cage for myself. Sandra died in November of 2019, lung cancer, 50 years married. She died on a Thursday afternoon, and by Friday morning, the house was a different object. By early 2020, I was at a half pint before noon. By 2022, 24 ounces a day. By January of 2023, 750 milliliters, a standard fifth, every 24 hours. I drove 20 minutes out of my way to use the Meijer on Margaret Avenue instead of Total Wine on US 41, because Total Wine was where the parents of my players shopped. Think about that. I was consuming a fifth of bourbon per day and spending 20 extra minutes in the car to protect the reputation of a man who no longer existed. "You look good, Coach," a former player told me at a Walgreens in 2022. He was buying diapers. He'd played for me in the mid-90s. I was buying the budget label by then. I said thank you. I moved my cart to block his view of my basket. I was 60 miles from rock bottom, and I said thank you and drove home. The officer who pulled me over in March of 2024, his voice hit me before I saw the badge. Tommy Bivens, left fielder, played for me in the late 90s. He became Indiana State Police sometime after college. He recognized my truck before I recognized him. We didn't say anything beyond what the law required. He cited me professionally without hesitation. He called Brett. I coached that kid to maintain composure under pressure. When everything's on the line, trust the cage. Trust what you built. He cited a 79-year-old former coach at 9 in the morning on a Tuesday in March, and he didn't flinch. I don't have a way to account for that. I've tried for 16 months. The diagnosis is cirrhosis, Child-Pugh Class B. The printout is folded in the top dresser drawer. 5-year survival rate, roughly 60%. I understand what that means. The neuropathy in my feet and hands is permanent. The burning at 2 in the morning doesn't stop. My right hand trembles at rest. I write down Brett's visits on a yellow legal pad because I forget what we talked about by the following week. Brett comes first Saturday of the month. We talk about the grandkids, the weather. We don't talk about the cage. The ring is still on the table. 1987. Gold tone bluestone. I won that sectional with 31 kids who believed, genuinely believed, I made sure of it, that what you practice alone, without applause, without an audience, is the only thing that matters when the game is real. I had the right idea. I just never turned it on myself. The burning started again around 2. I've been sitting here watching the window get lighter. Pale, flat, February, Indiana. The food cart will come through the corridor around 7. Brett visits Saturday. If you're building habits right now, and you are, whether you know it or not, I want you to hear this from someone in 280 square feet with a printout in the dresser and a burning in his feet that the doctors say is permanent. The cage builds whatever you put into it. It doesn't judge. It doesn't correct. It just makes permanent what you practice when no one was watching. I built the wrong cage. 40 years, 500 reps a day,